What up, guys? Hey, if you are looking to enhance your small business and get your name out there, Lockdown Universe is offering the capability for you to be promoted on the podcast. We'd love to partner with you. We offer monthly memberships, we offer 3-month memberships, and we offer yearly memberships or just for a few podcasts. So if you are interested, please email lockdownuniverse@gmail.com. We'll get back to you and we'll be happy to give you some quotes. Thanks so much and enjoy the show. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and lore. Today we've got a great one for you. I'm excited to bring it to you. Hopefully you guys are doing well, taking care of yourselves on a Sunday, and let's get into it. So I've done podcasts on the 20 and Back program, on different individuals who state that they were part of this 20 and Back program to Mars, 20 years to Mars and 20 years back. But new information has come to light about that program and how they were able to manipulate their bodies so that they actually age regressed back. Previous information had given us that their bodies were regressed 20 years, so that it didn't even appear as though they had left for 20 years, right? However, information now from Randy Kramer, who was one of the individuals, one of the Marines who was sent, states that he had his soul actually transferred into a clone of his body. And I'm going to play a quick audio snippet so you can hear about it, and we'll talk about it. So I'm going to set this up here, and just listen here.
Years old, I was deployed into the covert military space program. 17 years, sent to Mars? Yes. How were you sent to Mars? We were put onto a transport ship, and then that ship took off from Luna Operations Command on the moon, and then that ship went through a wormhole to Mars, so the whole trip, took a few minutes.
What is the 20 and Back program?
You deploy someone for a 20-year tour of duty, and then you return them. They basically have to hatch you out a new clone that's the same age that when you left, and transfer your soul and your consciousness. The soul is actually a quantum fluid dynamic. It can be removed from one vessel and put into another.
Was it done to you? Was this body made in a laboratory?
Yeah, hatched out of a clone.
Okay, so there you have it. So a lot of information in that small amount of time. Randy Kramer was interviewed by George Norrie in that particular clip. And it was cut for time and put together. Now, that's new information for me. It's probably new information for you as well. So previously, Corey Good had talked about his participation in the 20 and Back program and how they had age regressed his actual body, not created a clone for him, but actually regressed his body through some sort of chamber that he was in and genetically altered his body back to 20 years previous. Now, Randy Kramer's coming out and he's stating a totally different process, and there's multiple portions of this process that are really interesting and very different from Corey Good's explanation. So Randy Kramer is stating that they can actually transfer your consciousness from one body to another, and the other body can be a clone. So let's think about this for a second. Now, he's saying that you can do that from your original body to a clone. What if you can also do that from one body to another body, a regular living body, right? Actually just flip-flopping consciousness. So you could potentially have, like the movie Freaky Friday, where the mom and the daughter switch consciousnesses. That would be really interesting. I mean, not that the clone aspect of changing your consciousness to a clone isn't interesting, but it's just really fascinating. So what he says, Randy Kramer, is that the consciousness is a liquid quantum field. Okay, so we know that the quantum field exists. There's been plenty of experiments and done on that where, we know that action at a spooky distance, like Albert Einstein states, exists where one atom can affect another atom of the like and immediately change it. So the government had created this clone for Randy Kramer, according to him, and allowed his consciousness to quantum fieldly alter and change position from his body to the clone body. He actually states that he is now in a clone body that they had created for him. So the other body must have just died, or whatever the case is, or maybe they used it for some sort of other experiment. Who knows? But this mind swapping, is really interesting, and it kind of gives credence to these old movies like The Body Snatchers or Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where, they would take these human bodies and the aliens would actually have their consciousnesses inside of them, and or they'd be zombies or whatever the case is. And so, it's all of this past science fiction, quote unquote, actually kind of coming to light and actually being real, and we find this a lot in movies and in our art, where art mimics life and life mimics art. But in this case, the quantum field, the liquid quantum field that is the soul, it can be transferred from one body to another. Is that why we can have, a lot of these aliens who state that they are living for 600 years, possibly be living for 600 years? They're just moving from clone to clone to clone, and keeping their consciousness in this realm, in this plane of existence. Because once we die, right, and we're reborn, according to those who believe we're reborn, you lose all of your previous memories from the previous lives. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could body hop from one body to the next and keep your consciousness, keep your intelligence? You would continue to grow and continue to be much more intelligent, much more able to be efficient with your life, efficient with others' lives, and make your society grow infinitely, exponentially, to the next level. And I think that's what's really interesting here, is that could be what has happened with these other civilizations and how they've been able to progress so rapidly, is that, you maintain your work, you continue your work, and if you can continue to swap out for a brand new body that's better, more efficient, more functional, you're not tired all the time, as you get older, right? We're all tired, but imagine if you had a 20-year-old body all the time. You could, but you had your 50, 60-year-old mind, 40-year-old mind, whatever age you are, and you could continue to transfer that. You would be able to get an unlimited amount of projects done for your society, for your government, for your agency, and you would be head over feet in technology over anyone else, any other country, any other planet, any other solar system, any other galaxy. So that's really fascinating. And one of the moving on to the next portion of this, Randy Kramer also stated that the reptilian insectoids, according to his research and his contacts and his information that he's gathered, his intelligence that he's gathered throughout the years, he stated that that they are supposedly coming to the planet, and they are supposedly planning some sort of invasion of some sort, is what he feels like. But if you're a ufologist, you kind of heard all these stories about them being here for years, about them being in the New Mexico base, working with the government, with some of our intellectual empaths that can communicate with them telepathically, that we've kind of been working with them, although they are an aggressive species, kind of playing both sides of the field there, so that we don't get killed, but yet that we can continue to profit from some of their information. At least that's what's been kind of given to us and informed to us. So there's a lot of information to unpack here. You know, whether or not there's some sort of invasion coming, who knows? We really don't know that. But it's possible. I mean, and if there was an invasion, I mean, it wouldn't be much of an invasion. I mean, we wouldn't be able to fight them off, I don't think. But I don't have all that information. However, Corey Good stated that there were some reptilians that were trying to get off planet, and they were asking for permission very aggressively. They were demanding to be let off of the planet, and that we were keeping them here through some sort of technology, maybe surrounding the planet. So that's really interesting. So, yeah. Fantastic information from Randy Kramer. I do have a podcast on the Project Serpo, on the 20 and back, that I did last summer, if you want to check that. And a Martian war that actually took place as well, where the government, as well as Martians and other aliens, were in a battle. So check that out as well. I think that's the title, The Martian War, in my podcast. But what do you think about this? What do you think about this quantum liquid field transference of the soul, of our consciousness? Do you believe in that? Do you believe that that we live multiple lives and we can move on, or that we simply die at the end of this human existence and there's nothing left? But do you believe also that we could transfer consciousnesses from one body to another while we're here? There's lots of ways to think about it. Totally up to you, and everybody has their own opinion on it, and I respect those opinions. And so these are the questions that I bring up because I want you to think, and I want you to hear what these government insiders have to say and allow us to explore them. But I had never heard it described as liquid quantum field, and it really makes sense. That if it's a quantum field now that we're understanding about the soul, then we understand also that we can transfer quantum field energy, and we've done it in a scientific lab setting. So, and it's leading us to teleportation. That's kind of the goal, is that they've teleported information from Earth into space to the ISS, the International Space Station. That's not government's insider information. That's well-known information that's been out in the news. They've transferred information, simple cell blocks from one side of the Earth to the other side of the Earth, one lab to the other lab. So we know that's possible. So as we move forward into this brave new world, man, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And I mean, it just makes you wonder, if you had a ton of money, if you're the ultimate rich in this country, top 1%, would you have the capability of paying someone to transfer your soul into another body? We have a movie called Get Out. If you've ever seen that movie, really great movie, you should check it out. And that's actually the premise of the movie, is that they're taking these younger individuals, and they're old people, and they're transferring their consciousness into these other individuals. I don't know if they're taking their brain and putting it in the other individual or not. But anyway, the point is that they're transferring their consciousness into a younger body. So it's really fascinating. I think that the potential is there. I think it's definitely possible. And that I think that it's worth exploration. And it's one of these areas of ufology and sci-fi and sci-fact that we really don't get into. We really don't hear a lot about. But it does definitely play into how we're interacting in the intergalactic federation, how we're playing a role in our own evolution of humanity, and playing a role in our own evolution of our own spirit and our own mind and our own body, and what's good for us. And what do you think? Do you think that you would be part of this program? Would you want to transfer your intelligence into another body? Is there a benefit to staying on the planet and staying with your consciousness in this realm? Or is there a benefit to passing away and being reborn, if you believe in that? And if you would want to be have your consciousness transferred, how many years would you want to live? Is there a set amount? Is there a set goal that you would have to achieve? These are the really interesting questions. How many generations of your, heritage would you want to see grow up? That's a possibility too. Seeing your children grow up, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on and so forth. And if you were transferring bodies, then you would be as young as they are. You could be 20 years old and being out there playing basketball or football or baseball with them, or running, playing with them. That's like mind-blowing. That simple concept right there, like, it's just totally mind-blowing to me. So there's your sci-fact podcast of the day. Trying to blow your mind a little bit. Hopefully you guys got a little bit out of it. I could probably talk about this for a long time, but I don't want to ramble too long. But interesting stuff from Randy Kramer. Hopefully I'm going to do some more research on some of his videos and bring you some more info as well, and some more head scratchers and thought inspiration for you. Have a great Sunday, guys. Hopefully you're taking care of your emotional, spiritual, and physical health. Following through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams, and as always, continuing to question the universe around you. Until next time, Lockdown Universe out.